Good afternoon and welcome to this Wellington Business Expo live stream. So this afternoon we are going to talk a little bit about our health and wellness forum that's coming up next week. We're only 2 days away from, working days away from Expo starting, so it's all very full on here at the Hutt Valley Chamber of Commerce, building people's online stands and watching the registrations of people coming to our events build every minute. I keep refreshing my screen to see how many more people are coming along. So thank you for joining us this afternoon for our live stream. I've got two fabulous guests with me this afternoon. Cassie Murphy from Hutt. Nice to see you again, Cassie.
Nice to see you.
Thanks. And Mid Thomas from B Suite.
Awesome. Thanks, Helen.
Yeah, nice to see you, Mid. Haven't seen you for a while. So Hutt are a platinum partner with the Hutt Valley Chamber of Commerce and was very keen. We worked very closely together during lockdown, didn't we, Cassie, around live streams.
Yeah, no, that was great, just to get in touch with the community and explain what was happening in our industry through you guys. So that was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, certainly a lot of change very quickly, wasn't there, for your industry? And so Hutt was very keen to, as part of our Expo program, provide an opportunity for us all to think about ourselves and our own health and our own wellness as we all try to adapt to the change that's gone on in this year. And this is a great opportunity, really, in this forum to just come together and to think about, take some time out for ourselves and think about what we can do to help ourselves get through this and give ourselves all a little bit of care. So every single one of us in business has experienced a whole new world of uncertainty and challenge. And we're all trying rapidly to adapt, aren't we? We're all just trying to learn new stuff and move forward and take advantage of any opportunities that come back and move on and just make our businesses really resilient. And so that's why this forum's really important right now, especially take advantage of being in level one. So first of all, Cassie, in your industry, you certainly work with people very closely at a time when they're adapting to a lot of change and actually feeling quite vulnerable, I would say, as well.
Yeah, definitely. So we work with people in one of the most vulnerable times in their lives, and it's up to us to support them through that and be there for them. So I guess we experience that every day, and being able to help people get past those points and just move forward with what they have to do to get to the next step. So I guess that's why we're so passionate about this area and getting together with you all and with Mid to sit down and talk about how to deal with things that aren't necessarily what you want to be going through at that time.
Yeah, sure. And I think also it's an area where business people are often not comfortable coming together for these sorts of topics. And I think it's really important that we start having these conversations because we're all under quite a lot of stress and difficulty, whether our business is going really well, even there's some sense of guilt around that for some people, or whether your business has been absolutely, decimated or completely reshaped because of COVID.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what sort of skills, Cassie, or tools do you use when it comes to helping people adapt with this sort of change? What sort of advice would you give?
Well, from our point of view, it's just being there to support them through it. And I guess they don't necessarily go through that very often. It's once or twice in their lives that they'll have to deal with losing a loved one and things. But it is something that we look after every day. So just stepping them through what they need to do to give their loved one the best farewell possible and for their own grief as well. So just stepping them through that and taking care of them and being able to take on their stresses so that they can focus on what they need to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly from a chamber perspective, we've seen that just being there for business people throughout this year, we've made, I don't know how many, probably over 2,000 phone calls now out to business people, just checking in with them, see how they're doing. And the response has been really interesting. Normally people who are too busy normally to talk actually just appreciate someone just being there for them and just talking to them and listening, actually.
And that's what we do. We're just there to listen and take on board everything they want for their loved one and make that happen for them so they don't need to worry about that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll bring quite a bit of that perspective to this forum next week, won't you?
Definitely.
Yeah, great. And Mid, in your business, you work very closely with people in terms of upskilling them and helping them adapt to change?
Yeah, look, I guess not just in my business, but in my experience, I've spent a whole, 30 years coaching and developing people to create high performance. And when you work with people consistently, there are a few things that are common across businesses and across humans when they're stressed. One is your chemicals within your body go a little crazy and your behavior changes, So if you think about, we have these moments in our lives where stress impacts on us significantly. And it's always around not necessarily how we handle it. I have a thing called DOTS. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before, Helen, but it's an anagram for the 4 ways in which people will deal with trauma or challenge in their life. And the D stands for they'll do things that will distract them. O stands for opting out. T stands for time out, and S stands for substance. So there are just these things that we do typically that we may not even be aware of. So it's getting a real grip on that and then managing yourself through those processes. And you see, one of the things that we talk about when it comes to emotions and stress is we tend to, as humans, push things away. So when we don't like pain, it's like exercise. We don't like exercise because it hurts us. So we avoid it at all costs. And it's unfortunately, it's become something that we get really good at, And in the past, 100 odd years, not 100 to be more than that, but a few million years ago, we would do that as a survival mechanism. Now those survival mechanisms that live inherently within us are actually working against us. So instead of embracing emotion, we're pushing it away. And it's actually embracing, acknowledging, and nurturing yourself through those moments. You're so right in relationship to business. We've got some people who have essentially, who are doing really well, but are having to work really, really hard to do that. And they're having to pick up new skills and pivot and innovate or reimagine what their business is like. And that's tough. And then on top of that, you've got those that are mourning and grieving the loss of what they had pre-COVID. So we'll discuss a whole bunch of strategies and tactics to help you in that space, to one, physically feel good, two, mentally. And the spiritual space is definitely personable and won't be something that we'll probably touch on, but we'll definitely be touching on the physical way in which you can keep yourself well, and then, of course, the mental side of things as well.
Yeah, that's great. It's really interesting to use the word reimagine. It seems that we're all trying to reimagine our businesses every day and trying to imagine what they could be like tomorrow, or the different states they could be in by tomorrow or next week, Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I've noticed probably when you are trying to innovate or change, that's really scary. It's not something that we do naturally. And in fact, we are cautioned not to in normal BAU. So, in your normal business, you won't be like, let's reimagine, let's reinvent. You won't be thinking that, yet that's essentially the environment that we're forced into. So sometimes some of that change is inhibited by the fears that we carry with us. So we can touch on that stuff. It's definitely a topic I love to talk about. We've got a bunch of training in the space that helps build resilience. And it's something that I definitely I spend a lot of time talking with clients around this.
Yeah, that's great. Mid, one of the things that we hear from different people in business a lot in the last few months is about sleep. And now I know we, a couple of years ago, ran some seminars here at the Hutt Valley Chamber on sleep. It's a pretty important part of dealing with change, isn't it?
It's massive. And that's coming from a not very good sleeper. I'm a self-diagnosed poor sleeper. And look, sleep is one of, it's actually, we actually just had this conversation with my business partner today. He's like, I'm just not sleeping well. And I said, what are you worried about? Because often sleep and worry go hand in hand. If you don't sleep, sleep is your restorative state. So to not sleep is to not give your body the restoration that it needs in order to function appropriately. So there's just, women will put on weight if they don't sleep properly. Men will become ridiculously irritable, and again, they will also, there's a weight gain accompanied with sleep. It will set your biorhythms all out of sync. You'll be tired in the afternoon rather than normal rhythms or normal behaviours. So it is a very, very important part of life, but it's sleep, it's nutrition, it's exercise, it's balance, and right now what we have is an out of balance society. So things that we do recommend, I recommend all the time, meditate more. It's during times of stress that we find people struggle to meditate, and yet meditating is probably the best way in which to help people get through challenging times. Exercise, it's the one thing we don't have time for, yet it's the one thing we've got to find time to do. And it doesn't have to be go to the gym and do a 45-minute or an hour pump class. It might be just taking 15 minutes at lunchtime to go for a walk. It's those things. It's making a commitment to your physical and your mental, and obviously for those that are in that space, your spiritual well-being.
Yeah, sure. You also mentioned the word grief, Mid. So, Cassie, obviously, people look at your business and certainly think about grief, but there is an element of grief that I think hasn't really been talked about much around COVID, in terms of losing where we thought our businesses might be by this time of year, or losing some of your colleagues. If you're a business owner, maybe losing big portions of your business, or losing some of that opportunity. It's similar, isn't it?
Definitely. And I think that's one thing to notice as well, is everyone thinks of grief as losing a loved one, or like death is often associated with grief, but grief can be anything. And I guess that's something that Mid will touch on a lot throughout this as well, is it is, like you said, losing staff members at work and not knowing where your business is going to be and things like that. Everyone's experiencing grief every day through COVID. And just life as you know it has changed. So it's adapting to that as well.
Yeah, great. Excellent. Is there anything else you guys want to add about what we're going to do next Thursday, I think it is, at 5:30 here at the Hutt Valley Chamber?
Just come. please come along.
We would love to see you.
Yeah, great. Yeah, absolutely. So yes, I mean, I think this area is something that affects us all really, and we're really hoping to create a really relaxed and enjoyable evening for everyone to just come along and feel comfortable to have some of these conversations. They don't have to be tough. I mean, I was reading something the other day about, switching off. So I was actually watching The Social Dilemma, and, the power of switching off your social media and how empowering that is, just to not watch some of the dreadful news that comes through by the minute at the moment. So, certainly want to invite you all to join us next Thursday for our Health and Financial Wellness Forum. It's 5:30 and it's Thursday next week. So it'll be a really relaxed and informative business after 5. We'll certainly share as much expertise as we can, but it's also a fabulous opportunity for us all just to get together. This year we've lost a lot of the big celebratory events and the smaller networking events and some of the relationship connections and that sort of thing, and this event next week is very much about coming together, being together, supporting each other, learning something personal for yourselves, maybe something to take back into the business and share with your staff. Even it's as simple as a new sleep technique, or just understanding some of the feelings, or maybe your irritability or lack of patience, or some of us are just feeling some fragility at times when things happen as well. So next week we'll have Mid, you're speaking next week as well, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. And Trish Love is also joining us from Love to Grow. And Trish is very good at people, at helping people understand their attitudes towards money and their financial satisfaction and their behaviours around money. And I know that as Trish has got some excellent, easy things you can do if you're feeling under pressure around money, to just help you understand that and manage that as well. So I know they're very simple techniques. I've used them personally that Trish has taught me, and they've made a huge difference. So there's something for everybody in our evening health and financial wellness forum next week, Wednesday, isn't it? Next week. You can register online at wellingtonbusinessexpo.nz, and I encourage you to join us there. If you've got anything else you want to add, guys?
No, that's it. Just, would love to see you there, and there will be lots of smiling and laughing. I'm sure Mid will have you all laughing. So don't worry.
That's definitely one of the best techniques to deal with stress is laughter.
Yeah.
And I do encourage at least 5 minutes of laughter every day. So,
say that again, Mid. I lost you then.
I always encourage about 5 minutes worth of laughter every day as a way in which to help people through stress, and it genuinely actually picks up the spirit, helps people to get on with their work. So yep.
Yeah, so that's fabulous. I'm sure we'll have a real a fun evening. Really looking forward to it. And please, if you're watching this, invite your friends, come along for a relaxed, fun evening. Take a look at wellingtonbusinessexpo.nz and you can book to attend on that website as well. So we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you very much, Mid and Cassie, for joining me this afternoon and for coming on live on our Facebook and for supporting our work with the Business Expo next week. It's a pleasure.
Awesome.
Thank you, Helen.
Thanks, Helen.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
See you.